MindLensX, Episode 2, You Don't Actually Have Free Will. You woke up this morning and thought you chose to get out of bed. You chose what to wear. You chose what to eat. You chose to press play on this video. What if I told you? You didn't choose any of it. What if every single decision you've ever made, every relationship you entered, every career you pursued, every word you've ever spoken was already decided before you even knew you were deciding? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see yourself forever. In 1983, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet ran an experiment. Simple setup. He asked people to flick their wrist whenever they felt like it, completely freely. No rules, no pressure. Just whenever you want. Move your wrist. At the same time, he measured their brain activity, and what he found shook the scientific world. Your brain showed activity preparing to move the wrist half a second before the person consciously decided to move it. Let that sink in. Your brain made the decision and before your conscious mind was even aware of it. So who made the choice? You or your brain, without telling you? This experiment has been repeated hundreds of times since, with more advanced technology, and the results keep pointing to the same terrifying conclusion. Your conscious mind might just be a passenger, watching the decisions happen, and then taking the credit. Here's what most people don't understand about the brain. You have not one, but essentially two operating systems running simultaneously. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman called them System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, unconscious. It's been running since the day you were born. It processes 11 million bits of information per second. System 2 is slow, deliberate, conscious. The thinking you think you're doing, it processes just 40 bits per second. 40 versus 11 million. So when you think you're making a careful, rational decision, your unconscious mind has already processed 11 million pieces of information and quietly nudged you in a direction before System 2 even woke up. Your conscious thought. It didn't lead the decision, it just narrated it. Like a sports commentator, describing a game they have no control over. But let's go even deeper. Even if we ignore the neuroscience for a moment, think about this. You didn't choose where you were born. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose your childhood experiences. You didn't choose the language you think in. You didn't choose the culture that shaped your values. You didn't choose the traumas that rewired your nervous system. And yet, every single decision you make today is filtered through all of those things. Your brain is not a blank slate making free choices. It is a machine built by genetics you didn't select, shaped by experiences you didn't ask for, running patterns that were installed before you were old enough to question them. So, when you chose your partner, were you really choosing freely? Or were you running a pattern that was written into you at age 7? When you self-sabotage, is that a choice? Or is that a program, executing itself while you watch helplessly from the inside? The philosopher Schopenhauer said it best: a man can do what he wants, but he cannot want what he wants. Read that again. You can act on your desires, but you cannot control what you desire in the first place. That desire came from somewhere else. Now. Before you spiral, before you close this video and sit in an existential crisis, pause with warmth. Let me give you the plot twist, because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Knowing that your brain runs on autopilot is not a reason to feel hopeless. It is the most powerful piece of self-knowledge you can have. Here's why. Awareness breaks the autopilot. The moment you observe a pattern, you create distance from it. And in that distance is something that feels remarkably like freedom. Neuroscientists call it metacognition, thinking about your thinking. When you catch yourself reacting and you pause and you ask, wait, why am I doing this? Where is this coming from? You are no longer just running the program. You are editing it. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, wrote something that has never left me. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space, that tiny gap between what happens to you and what you do next, that is where your freedom lives. Maybe free will isn't something you have automatically. Maybe free will is something you build, slowly, consciously, deliberately, one moment of awareness at a time. So, let me ask you again, do you have free will?